The Durango has had a big year with the SRT version finally arriving, offering 475 horsepower in a sub 5-second 0 to 60 time. But that doesn't mean that Dodge has ignored the rest of the Durango lineup. In fact, as boring as it sounds, I believe that a slight tech upgrade is the bigger story this year, as Android Auto and Apple CarPlay finally make it to the coolest 3-row crossover on the market. Hi, I'm Mike Perkins from CarGurus, and this is the 2018 Dodge Durango RT. Now, there are more tech upgrades this year beyond smartphone integration, but before we talk about that, take a look at this hood. Dodge took a lot of the visual cues from the SRT and allowed them to filter down into the RT, and this hood is the best example of that. It's mean and it's pretty, and best of all, it's actually functional too. And if you pay close attention, you'll see a lot more SRT touches, like this blacked out grille replacing the standard cross treatment with this new opening here, and the strip LEDs that replace the old round units. Now, what this means is that to the casual viewer, the RT is visually indistinguishable from the more powerful and more expensive SRT. That's great news for RT buyers, but I'm betting we're going to get a lot of disappointed SRT owners who spent an extra 20 grand or more for something special. But that's all at the top of the lineup. More relevant to those who don't need their crossover to do a 13-second quarter mile are the interior changes and upgrades that affect all Durangos this year. With Android Auto and Apple CarPlay now standard, the major gripe that I had has disappeared. And with a 7-inch touchscreen and a rear view camera now standard as well, things are even better in here. The RT gets you an 8.4-inch touchscreen with the Uconnect system that should be very familiar to you. It's just as responsive and attractive as always, with a lot of fun and features buried in the system here. The only real gripe that I have is with the navigation system. It still gives me the same kind of errors where it forgets to tell me to turn or tells me to take the next turn when it really means the next turn. But with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, that's not even an issue anymore. I do still have a problem with the volume and tuning knobs being too sensitive, so that I go back and forth past the channel I'm actually trying to land on, but I am glad that they're here. No matter how technologically advanced we get, I do not want people to take my knobs away. Of course, that's exactly what they did with the transmission this year, as they scrapped the old rotary dial for a more traditional shifter. I didn't actually have a problem with the old rotary dial, but this looks and works great too. For something more traditional, how about this sunroof? $1,200 for that guy, in a car that costs nearly 50 grand. It's the same with this hand-wrapped dash. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's $1,000, and shouldn't the RT just come with it? I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled. But speaking of spoiled, check out what your passengers are going to be enjoying. Up front here we get these special RT seats, which they're comfortable, but I wish they had a little bit more side bolstering and maybe some more length for my thighs, because I keep sliding out of them if I use too many of the 360 horses and 390 pound-feet of torque that this 5.7-liter V8 offers. Still, they are really nice and they come with heat and ventilation, but it's your back passengers that are really getting the deluxe treatment. Here in the RT, you get rear auto climate control, plus the optional $1,000 fold and tumble heated captain's chairs that make accessing that third row a breeze, even for tall guys like me. For entertainment, an extra $2 grand will get you a dual screen Blu-ray compatible rear video system with these flip up screens and connections in the center console and in each of the seats, although that's going to take up most of the storage that you would normally get up here. So, for an extra $500, you can add a second row console that will get you another USB charging port, a 12-volt outlet, and some illuminated door sills. And it's really nice. In fact, all of this stuff is really nice. But when you add it all together, it adds more than 10 grand to the purchase price. And honestly, that's just a lot of money for a vehicle that starts at under 30. Of course, for 30 grand, you're going to get V6 power rather than the big V8 we have here. And as everyone continues to fall under the spell of forced induction, 5.7 liters of naturally aspirated power is about as close to a breath of fresh air as you can get. And despite its wild power numbers and a 15-second quarter mile, the RT is still able to easily return its estimated 17 combined miles per gallon, thanks to modern features like direct injection and cylinder deactivation slapped onto this old engine. That's not something I can usually say about my test vehicles, and I haven't exactly been frugal with my right foot either. Now, the only mistake that I think Dodge made is with the sport suspension here in the RT. Personally, I love it, but I can see some people finding it a little stiff, and that might dissuade someone from buying if they're looking for V8 power. Now, an easy solution would be to make the sport suspension here in the RT optional, or, and this is my preferred solution, make the V8 an option for the lower trims. Can you imagine being able to buy a V8 powered rear-wheel drive GT or SXT? I don't think Dodge could build them fast enough. I mean, am I wrong? For more practical considerations, cargo capacity stands at 17.2 in the back with 47.7 if you drop the third row and 84.5 total with all the seats down. Only the Traverse can beat that, but small item storage is some of the worst in the category, which is only exacerbated with the entertainment system in the middle console. And something that gets overlooked far too often is the 18.5-foot turning radius, several feet shorter than a lot of the competition. Add in a 125-foot braking distance, and that's a lot to love. Personally, I think we're going to hear from a lot of angry SRT owners who aren't all that happy about there being a much cheaper version of the Durango that looks identical to their special street and racing technology version. But regardless, the Durango offers an attractive, exciting option in what is usually a pretty boring category, with rear-wheel drive design and traditional V8 power. Hey, thanks for watching. For full details on the 2018 Dodge Durango, just click the link in the description, and you can head over to CarGurus.com and read my full review. And for more videos, well, just subscribe to the channel.